Hey guys, welcome back to Black Rock Nissan Off-Road, and today we're installing the MXT400 from Midland. What I'm doing now is I have found when you try to fish wire through the firewall, best thing to do is to run like a line. I use a old copper coat hanger, and so I run the line through the firewall and then tape it up and then gently pull it through the other side. That way, with it taped up, the end is secure, doesn't damage it. This is the best way I have found. I pull it through right behind the fuse and relay box on the passenger side. I think that brings it right there closest to where the battery is, and I'll show you how I hooked it up. Really simple. So just as you can see, this is how I connected it to the coat hanger, and just remove the old tape. You've got your ends. I'm going to reconnect the fuses. There was no way that was going to get pulled through that grommet, and so just simply reattach those to the fuse and clip them back inside of the case, and you're done. In case you're wondering, yes, in the Midland MXT400, there is a fuse on both the ground side as well as the positive side. And in case you're wondering, I ran the antenna cable through the firewall, through the grommet on the driver's side. Right now, this is just the fuse box that I'm working with. I've got the actual fuse box and relay box there to the left that I'm going to be using, but for now, until I get that situated where I need to, this is what I'm using. It's just a very easy location to go ahead and run the wires to. So I just stripped the wires a little bit longer so that I could get them in the terminals, crimped onto the terminal ends, and then plugged it into the fuse box that I'm using currently. Without question, you can run the power wires a different way. If you've got a power source up under the dash, you can connect it that way. If you have just terminals on the battery, then you can use that as well. There's plenty of length in the wire that Midland sends you. I could have ran this all the way to the battery, but I didn't. I actually wrapped up a good 8 to 10 inches of wire behind the glove box, so there is plenty of extra wire if you need it. And I was out of shrink tube, so I was not able to clean up those terminals like I'd preferred. Once I've got the power connections tightened up, I want to make sure that my connections elsewhere are really tight, making sure that the radio is firmly held onto the bracket. And in my setup here on the Frontier, definitely wanted to make sure that I could access my power port above it, checking, make sure that my larger plugs can be plugged in and removed. I'm going to run the power wire behind the dash, and so it's going to plug in back there. A little inconvenient. I wish it plugged in actually like into the back of the radio. It does not, but you just have to remove the bottom portion of the dash. The wires will go right in there. They're not pinched. There's plenty of room. I can actually slide it in and out a little bit, but that's how I ran that. That way, it's as best out of sight that I could get it. For those of you that don't know, you just push in on the ends of the glove box and it falls forward. Most of you probably know that. If you don't, then there you go. Here's the power wire that has been run through the firewall, plugging it in to the radio side of it. Like I said, it's going to plug in back behind the dash, behind the glove box. When you're done, just close everything back up, make sure everything's tucked away inside. Yeah, I've got kids, tons of napkins. Don't judge. Once it's done, close it back up and should be good to go. I'm going to tuck the extra wires. I made sure that there was plenty of extra wires. Make sure that I'm tucking those, getting everything nice and neat. Want to make it look clean. Then install the fuse. Make sure it's got power at that point. Now let's test the radio. Remove the sticker from the screen and hit the power button. Certainly it's a plus that the display matches the color of the dash and AC controls. Checking, making sure that everything's working. Really nice radio. In the near future, I do plan on going ahead and grounding the unit itself, especially because it's mounted to a plastic dash. The only thing I've got to work on right now is the antenna. This is not the right antenna for it, but it came with the bracket that I needed, and that's why I went with that. I've got the proper antenna ordered, and I will definitely get it tuned properly then. If you have any questions or comments, post below. Thanks, guys.